Welcome to Newfoundland Outdoors. Today we're going to show you how to make an ice tip up.
That's right. Ice fishing season is going to be starting here soon. We're a little behind the rest of the country. So we're going to show you how to make an ice fishing tip up like this one over here that we've been using for quite a long time actually, and it works super good. So this is a very basic, inexpensive setup, and once you see it, I think you'll be impressed. First we'll show you what tools you're going to need to get started.
You're going to need a drill to drill a hose for the bottom. You're going to need a few pliers, maybe a few screwdrivers.
You actually only need one screwdriver if your screws are all the same, but I just dug around some stuff I have and I actually ended up with 3 different size screws.
And most importantly, a measuring tape.
That's right. And for your materials, you're going to need a piece of wood. This is just a piece of 1x4 that I cut to a length of 12 inches. You can use any width wood, but I just find this size works pretty good. I've already cleaned this up and I routed the edges just to make it a little fancier. You're going to need 6 or 8 screws, a paint stick or a stir stick that we use, a spring door stop that's available for like 99 cents at any hardware store. It's just a spring that goes behind the door to keep it from hitting the wall. You can buy a length of dowel at a craft shop or the hardware store. This comes in 4 or 8 foot lengths, I believe. This is a 1/4 diameter. The diameter of your dowel depends on the size of your doorstop, because you want your dowel to fit into the doorstop. So this one fits in there, so it's a good size.
And you also have to hook up like a little piece of string or like a little kind of flag on the piece of wood, so you'll see it waving in the wind.
That's right. When it goes up, you'll be able to see it easier.
Yeah, if it's just a stick, you won't really see it as good.
That's right, on the ice you won't see the stick. So we just have a roll of flag tape and
Not exactly tape.
flag ribbon, a coat hanger, an old wire coat hanger, and right here we have a couple of, these are picture hangers. Actually, they go on the back of a picture, so you can use picture hangers, or you can use, these are little tiny staples. And you'll use those to fasten your trigger mechanism onto the piece of wood. So these are the picture hangers right here, and these are the little staples right here. The staples are a little bit cheaper, but I just find the picture hangers work a little better. So what did I forget to mention, Devlin?
The fishing wheel that you would actually wheel the fish up on.
Yeah, that's right. You can use a reel if you like, or sometimes you can do without it too. It depends on your preference. So we're just going to start now. I'm going to show you how to bend the trigger mechanism. So I'm just going to cut a section of coat hanger off here.
With some...
This is a little bit hard to cut.
Cut it with some wire cutters. And then you also forgot to mention this.
Yeah, that's what we're making now.
We never mentioned it.
So this is a trigger mechanism. This is the trigger mechanism here that I had off of a setup that I already had done. So basically you'll start by curling a loop in the front that your line will ride through. And I just find a pair of needle nose pliers works super good. So I just pinch the end and I'm just going to roll the clothes hanger around. So you end up with a little loop in your wire like this. And then I'll just give you the measurements. So I make it 2 inches. So bend your loop at a 90-degree angle. You have the loop put in the end of your coat hanger. I'm going to leave 2 inches. If Devlin wants to hold the measuring tape for me. Measure 2 inches. So right about here. So take it right here, and we're going to bend that at 90 degrees. I'll show you the finished product here in a second. So after you get your coat hanger bent at a 90 degrees with your little hole for your line to run through, then you want to bend it again. This time hold your 90-degree horizontal and bend your coat hanger up You can bend your coat hanger up, and that'll give you this type of a shape. And we have one last thing to do. We have to make a spot for your dowel. So we're going to bend this again, and I'll show you the finished product. This will be your trigger mechanism. So I'm just going to trim this off, and then I'll give you a close-up look at it. Got our trigger mechanism here now. If Devlin wants to come and zoom in. So you have your trigger mechanism. You have a flat piece on the bottom that's about 1.5 inches wide. You have a little loop right here where your dowel is going to sit in. And then you have your straight piece here with your line. So this is what it looks like. So right now I'm going to get Devlin to bring the camera a little closer while I assemble this. So can you see?
Yep.
Make it not blurry. So we've got our piece of board here, and this is the trigger mechanism that we just made. You can probably get a better look at it here now on the table. So all we're going to do here is, I marked out these holes earlier actually, so this is pre-marked, but it doesn't really matter where it goes. So right here you have the option of, you can use the little picture hangers that I talked about. I had these pre-marked. Or if you choose, you can just put this little staple, not too close, you can put this little staple over to hold your wire in place and just tap it in with a hammer. But I find the screw system works better. So this right here is our trigger mechanism. This is just flaps back and forth. Got a door stop over here. I don't have a screw with that one, so I've got a door stop here. So Devlin wants to come in and give me the camera. So your door stop, again, as long as your door stop is in line with this part right here, then it doesn't really matter the distance. You can cut your dowel accordingly to fit. So that's just the base of the door stop. So there's just a little spot on your spring, and that just fits into this hole right here. So you just turn that in place.
And then spring it like it's springing.
Yeah. So, and what I have here is a piece of dowel. The key to this dowel is that you have to cut it so that it fits into your trigger mechanism. This one is pre-measured to suit the length of the board I had. So you just push your dowel into your spring. Can you see it good? Keep it so flat. There you go. You just push your dowel into your spring, and then I'm going to adjust it so that it fits into the trigger mechanism. This will just fit inside your door stop.
Spring it again. And
so I'm going to put it into the trigger mechanism.
And then
let your tip up.
Then push it down.
So we have to put the reel on that Devlin was talking about. So what you want now is, when you're putting your reel on, you want the line to come off your reel so that it's in line with the hole in your trigger right here. So on this side your dowel lines up, and on this side your line lines up. And you just fasten your reel onto the wood. And again, these are pretty forgiving. It doesn't matter if they're lined up exactly so. They still tend to work pretty good. So that is the ice fishing setup. As easy as that.
So if you got a really big fish, a lot of times you'll go like this and fall right in, and then your flag would just bend and probably fall off, and then you'd also lose your line and your fishing hook. So if you drew this and put it on the bottom, it would go like this, and this would stop it since it's bigger in the hole. So if it falls in, it won't go down all the way. And then if you see your flag sideways like this, you know that you better go and pull it up. So first, you need to drill a hole in about the middle of the stick.
It would take a super big fish to pull that down in the hole though, wouldn't it? Would it take a big fish?
Yeah. That's good enough. And then, if you got a fish, it'll go like this, so it wouldn't fall in. But then if you stow it away, it takes up a lot more room. So if you don't have it too tight, you can just tone it like this, and then put down the flag and hook it on here, but put it up a bit farther. And then it would ruin your line, then it would be stowed away better.
That's right. So this is our ice fishing tip up. It's a very simple design. All we have to do now is show you how to set it up.
So you have to make sure the line goes underneath it, this side. Then make it come up and then go in the hole. If you have any extra line, you can reel it in for now. So then now you might have to let out a bit of line, and then make this go down, and then put in your flag so it'll just be at the tip.
It got to be just where?
At the very tip of it.
And why do you want it at the very tip?
And if a fish comes, just the littlest bite will make it pop up.
Okay.
But you can't have it too close, that if there's a bit of wind, it will pop up.
That's right.
So you have to have it about maybe not even half of a fingernail.
Yeah, that makes sense. By having it close to the end, it kind of makes it more sensitive to the fish nibbling on the hook. So that actually gives you some adjustment for the amount of sensitivity that you actually want on your hook.
Are you a ghost? And then, so there's one thing I forgot to mention. You have to put out this big thing. And then if you get a fish, the flag will pop up. And then if you don't get there in time, it won't fall in.
That's right.
But then if it's like this, fish gone.
That's right. So you saw how to make our tip up, and we've been using them for the last few years, and they work really well. But there's a couple of different options you can do with these as well. This is the one that we just made here. So it's got your stick on the bottom. That's the one we just showed you how to make. Activates by pulling the line. Works very easily. The second one here, Devlin is going to tell you what we did with this one.
If you think you're going to catch a really big fish and you don't want to use this little piece that we just showed you, you can easily just get a bigger piece of wood, hook on this like we showed before in the flag, and then it's a bit longer, so you put a little hole like in the middle, so then it will be out of the hole a little bit, and then it won't fall in. It's probably a bit stronger, but then it won't fall in, and then if you have a line like this, the line go right through this hole with this. So that way it goes a bit farther out, so it won't go right through your hole. But the hole could be a bit more in the middle, but not too much in the middle.
That's right. Yep. And the other advantage of this one too is by this going over the edge of your hole, is it actually keeps some of the snow from drifting into your hole as well.
And then
this one right here is exactly the same as the first one we made. It's just a different setup of a reel, right?
Yeah, so there's a different wheel. It comes out a bit easier, so it's good if you just want to pull it up. So a lot of the wheels are flat, they might be a bit easier to go. But this one, it's up straight like a fishing rod.
That's
not
right.
sideways like this.
So it's easier to reel in if you have a fish on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, both of these reels are available from Walmart or Canadian Tire. They're like $5 each, give or take. And the last thing that we have here, this is my personal favorite. It's kind of a combination of the two. So what we have here is this is my travel pack. The issue I have with these is we do a lot of backpacking and skidooing, so space is always an issue. And these tend to get a little bit tangled up if you don't keep them stored away properly in a container.
And
so the only real difference with the mini version of this, which I call the packable version, I guess, the only real difference is I didn't put a reel on it. That saves quite a bit of space. And so because there's no reel, I just wind the line around the piece of wood itself to store it. So by doing that, I left a little space in the trigger mechanism, because if you leave your line in the trigger, it would be impossible to reel it around your stick, or not impossible, it would be very difficult. So you just put it through your trigger mechanism when you're setting it up, and then you can set your flag the same as you do with the other one. So you have it all set, it's set up like this, good to go. Fish swims along. The fish called Devlin swims along. There you go. That's the angling and arrows version of the tip up, right, Devlin? Mm-hmm. That's right. So are you looking forward to going ice fishing?
Yes.
And when we do catch the fish, are we going to do a little video update and show people how these work on the pond?
Okay.
Sound good? Mm-hmm. Perfect. And what should people do before they go?
Subscribe, like, and follow on YouTube and Instagram.
That's right, everybody. And as well, I hope you enjoyed our little how-to on making an ice fishing tip-up. And remember, before you venture out on the ice this winter, make sure you check to see that it's safe and tell someone where you're going.
We don't really have line on it yet, but then it goes in this little hole. It's really big, so if you don't want to use this little stick out, it might be a bit too complicated maybe. You can use this piece.
We made a little storage case for him. Mom showed us a little storage case. Start with our trigger mechanism. So
And there's something you forgot to mention.
oh, what did I forget to mention?
You forgot to mention that 2 times.
Oh, you want to show him?
Fishing line. It's man, isn't it? Dad?
So your loop is at a 90-degree angle.
I hope the man will get me a new table.
Why?
This is my table,
Yeah.
and you got it all messed up with paint in that?
Oh, very good. So apparently I bought a table. So anyway, so I got you have your loop built.